Dana, thank you so much for joining us here on MLB Tonight. What do you think you landed? Give me the type of starting pitcher you think Imai will be throughout this 3-year, $50+ million deal.
Yeah, I think he's got a chance to pitch in the middle of the rotation with possibly some upside. You know, he'll be anywhere from 94 to 98, really good slider, and 3 very effective changeups. He's got the Vulcan change. He's got the splitter that goes down into a regular change. Love the competitiveness is what I really like the most, too.
Dana, it's Jake Peavy, and you're speaking my language and you're talking competitiveness, so I'm going to bounce right off that. When you're interviewing somebody like this, and I saw his quote saying, look, I thought about playing alongside Yamamoto and Ohtani, but taking those guys down and winning a World Series, that speaks to that competitive nature you're talking about. How much in conversations can you gather when there's such a language barrier?
Yeah, I mean, it's all through an interpreter for sure, but, you know, I love this guy's competitiveness. Jake, this guy would be right up your alley. He's super fiery guy. He's got personality too. You know, even through the interpreter, you could see that you could feel the personality. Right. And I just think he's a gamer. I think he gets after it. And, you know, he believes that's half the battle, believing that you can, you know, compete at this level. And I think he's fired up and he's ready to go. And we're really excited about him.
All right, so Dana, I got to ask what so many Astros fans are wondering. Imai is in your rotation. Does this mean that the Framber Valdez era in Houston is over?
Well, look, Framber's still out there. We just, you know, we don't know how that's going to play out. But we know that we have to get, you know, we had to get some starting pitching. And so we've been able to, you know, acquire 3 starters, you know, because we know that Framber's still on the market. And so, you know, us getting Mike Burrow was big, you know, and Ryan Weiss, that was also big. So we added those 3 guys. We know you're losing Framber, but he's still on the market, but he's out there. But if you don't get him, of course, you're losing those innings. And so adding these guys, we feel really good about it. And they're all pretty good competitors as well.
You added rotation depth. What you do have a lot of, Dana, is infield depth. Look, and what I'm sitting here looking on paper, I'm thinking that Jordan's going to have to play the outfield and not DH, maybe, as I've heard you guys would like. What's the plan with the infielders to date? I know it's ever-changing, but what's the plan?
Yeah, right now, look, it's going to be very competitive in our infield, of course. We will end up using Jordan a little bit more on defense, but it's a good problem to have. We have some really good bats in there. And we're going to see how this thing plays out, but it's going to be competitive. And I've always said competition is not the enemy of victory. So you want the competition so you see where you can go. You can always pivot. You could always make adjustments. But right now it's going to be very competitive, and we're looking forward to it.
I'm sorry, you think you'll hold on to all the infielders or possibly looking to trade market to upgrade the back end of your bullpen? I know you know how important that is. Do you see all 5 starting opening day with you?
Yeah, I think there's a chance where we can get all of these guys a ton of at-bats, you know, whether it's the DH slot, you know, whether it's giving some guys some time off. I don't think we're going to have – I don't think all these guys are going to play 162 games. So, right, you have guys that may play like 140. And so there's going to be some at-bats. It protects you when you want to give guys rest. And so we're looking at this in many ways. But, you know, we still are listening to other teams. We have teams calling us, you know, about some of our players, but we'll still listen.
Last year, you guys played with what felt like 2 aces, Framber and Hunter Brown. Now, Hunter Brown is clearly your #1 Game 1 guy. Is there consideration about talks of a long-term contract extension for a young phenom like him?
Yeah, I mean, we had some discussions with Hunter Brown about 2 years ago, and we expect that to, you know, to heat up again. You know, look, he's got Boris, so it won't be easy. But at the end of the day, we will definitely talk to Hunter Brown about an extension at some point. We'd love to keep him around. He's been very good for us. He's a competitor. He's definitely a Game 1 starter. And the makeup is pretty special, too. It's a good human being.
I agree with all that. Dana, another extension candidate is your manager. I go way back with Joe Espada, back to the University of Mobile. I don't think he gets to run and play. I'm going to let you have a few minutes to tell us what Joe Espada brings to the table leadership-wise.
Yeah, look, Joe is one of those guys, man, that he gets a lot of respect respect from the guys in the clubhouse. You know, he's a ball player's manager. You know, he's got really good leadership skills. I think having Joe down there, there's a certain calm that Joe has. There's no panic. I remember, you know, the 2024 slow start, you know, the club could have fell apart, but Joe, his steady, calm presence let the guys know that, look, you're good. We're going to be good. And we ended up getting to the postseason in 24, even with the horrible start. And so Joe's bringing a lot to the table. You know, we're excited about him. He's been here. He's worked under a lot of good managers. And, you know, I said it earlier, the end of last year, I'll repeat it in the early part of this year, that our plan is for me and Joe to retire here. That's what we want to do. And the only way we're going to do that, if we win, we get back to the postseason and put some World Series championships up there.
Well, he was on the dais with you for the press conference of Tatsuya Imai. I'm wondering, Dana, will the Houston Astros have a larger presence in Japan? Is this sort of like the first domino in what you hope to be more talent coming over from Japan to your team specifically?
Yeah, absolutely. We're trying to beef up our presence there. We're going to have some boots on the ground. You know, we have a really good relationship with one of our big sponsors, Daikin, which is the sponsor of Daikin Park. And so we're going to be active. And so, you know, this is the beginning of a new chapter for us. We're excited about it. We know that they have some really good competitive players in Japan. They can come over here. They can compete. They can be a part of championship teams. And so, look, we're all in.
A big day for the Houston Astros. Their GM, Dana Brown, joining us on MLB Tonight. Dana, thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys having me, man. Thanks. It's always great to be on.